Hello there, and thank you for tuning in to TKT Pod. That is the official podcast of the Kernel Times. I am your host, Abdullah Jafar Khalifa, and today we got a juicy one. If you spent some time on social media, you probably came across a video of an angry restaurant worker who's demanding his pay from his bosses. And the restaurant in question is the French Meadow Café and Bluestem Bar in Minneapolis. And I made an effort to see if I can get in touch with him, and I did. And I got a 2-for-1 because I also have another worker at that restaurant. I'm going to start off with the person who posted the video that went viral, Ira James, and he's joined by another worker, Wyatt Nicholson. And the reason why I just wanted to cover this is because we are a pro-labor podcast, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about what their experience was. And I hope you enjoy this interview. All right, we are live. How's everybody doing?
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Doing solid. Can't complain.
Awesome. So I came across this video here that has definitely been getting some attention online. Last I checked, I think it crossed 60,000 views on TikTok.
It passed 70,000 just today. That's
wow.
My video, and my name is Ira James, and I posted that video out of good reasoning. I decided to record myself to allow the public to have full transparency for how my friends and I were being treated in the offices of that location. But we'll get into the nuances of that. Go ahead. Yeah, I'll let you speak, please.
I just recently started working at this French Meadow location, and so I've only experienced fully this new ownership. And immediately, when I started working there, I was never fully trained on anything or anything related to food safety at all. So I honestly still don't know. And now I'm being asked to train other people, and I'm literally just being thrown into the fire, having no previous restaurant experience.
Jesus.
And
wow.
Yeah. So I haven't been educated on anything. I'm disappointed in the food that we're serving. I'm in the back of the kitchen. We de-thaw our frozen bags of soup. This is just at the location in Minneapolis. I want to make that very clear. It's not at either of the State Fair or the State Fair or the St. Paul location. But
and those have different owners.
Yeah, those have fully different owner, fully different ingredients. But the soup that we serve, it comes in frozen bags. We put it in boiling water, and I saw it open with a butter knife to get it into the containers, and we serve that to customers. And we claim that it's all organic.
Oh, so even though it's not fully fresh, you're still expected to... No,
it's not fully fresh. This place gets half its ingredients from Aldi across the street.
Wow. Okay.
I'd like to get into that for sure.
But before we move forward, let's actually have our listeners take a listen to that video that you posted, Ira.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes, looking for a paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up? I'm just looking at a paycheck.
The paycheck, I don't have a paycheck.
You don't have a paycheck? Why not?
No.
Why are we not getting paid on time every other Friday? Every other Friday.
Why you need to go with my pay? And you tell me?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Because honestly, what you're doing is insane. Bye.
Bye.
Pay us on time. Pay all of us on time.
Don't.
No. Pay all of us on
Don't tell
time.
me.
You're doing a crime.
Don't tell me.
You're all criminals.
Okay. Yeah, so that video was pretty intense, wasn't it? I actually was able to get in touch with Leiva. I hope I'm getting that right. And I was expecting to get a response from her by tonight. I'm still going to give her some time because, to be perfectly fair, I did kind of give her a short time to respond to some questions I had emailed her. But let me just do a quick rundown on what's been going on here. Right, so French Meadow Café, that's where you two work. It was founded in 1985 by Lynn Gordon, who expanded it into a pretty popular restaurant. I guess you want to call it a chain in the Twin Cities, which included the flagship restaurant in Minneapolis and with the Bluestem bar. There's a St. Paul location and the Minnesota State Fair outpost. Gordon owned and operated all locations for nearly 4 decades before selling only the Minneapolis French Meadow, Café, and Bluestem bar to Marlene Leiva in 2024, while retaining the St. Paul and State Fair operations. Now, after the sale, Gordon filed a lawsuit in Hennepin County alleging that Leiva defaulted on most of the roughly $2 million purchase price, missing rent and loan payments. She also allegedly fell behind with vendors and allowed operational and sourcing standards to decline. I'm hearing a lot of background noise.
Oh, sorry. That's my headphone. I just dropped my headphone. Sorry, I'm good.
You're good. No worries. This is a very rushed interview anyway, so it's all good. But anyways, so Leiva also faces separate felony charges related to bounced rent checks, and the landlord has initiated an eviction notice. Gordon is seeking to reverse the sale and regain control of the Minneapolis Café, which Leiva continues to operate as the civil, criminal, and eviction proceedings move forward. And so far there have been no major updates in the entire process. Nothing new since June 19th that I have seen. But so now, so have both of you worked through the ownership change?
I'll start. I worked there since 2021. I've been on and off because I am an artist and musician, and the Gordons always facilitated my ability to do so. And then I was gone as of last April of 2025. And then what happened is after I was gone, the purchase and the official transition started happening in October of 2025. I was returned to the business as a request of some of the employees there, asking for help. I was in town. Sounds good. No problem. And I'm happy to help. No problem. And initially I go in with good faith, and the purchase of the Leivas started in October of 2025. I came back in October of August. April of 2026. Sorry for the misspeak. April 2026. April 24th to be specific. The first weekend I go there, I am noticing the massive problems of what's missing there. I'm noticing employees being rushed off the clock and these kind of things. And then I'm noticing issues, health concerns. I'm noticing like corners being cut for like hyper efficiency's sake. Beyond that, like I didn't assume poorly what's going on. You know, I was just like, well, business as usual. Let's just keep it going. And of course I work there keeping things alive. The ordering of things did not fully work. And, then we're starting to run short on supplies. And as time goes along, each day you go into work, it's worse. And it's worse because you're missing supplies. You're going upstairs to look for something that you might be out of. You find out you're out of it. You come back down. You're definitely out of it. And you're constantly running out of things. There's no management with the items of things. And that's the first red flag. However, I was assuming myself as someone who could possibly help. As that position, I try to help. The help never comes. Whatever I try to put into the place, and as far as the supply I try to put into place to make it work, for another week or 2 weeks or whatever is not enough, because they're not listening. And not beyond listening, they get to the point where I find out eventually. And again, I'm telling you a narrative in chronological order to say I'm still in the good faith narrative. At some point in time, I find out that they're shaving people's hours and that they're performing wage theft. And that is my perspective now. And one could say that's my opinion. How they're performing it is to let people work a certain amount, and then they go to clock out and they find out that they've been clocked out 2 hours ago remotely. And that's not right. That is something that owners of businesses have the ability to do, just in case someone could forget to clock out, and then the owner of a business could easily use the remote power to put the clock out time correctly. And what happened with me is I made them aware, hey, I was clocked out 2 hours ago. I'm actually been here working the whole time. You have a fly problem. You have a health problem. You have so many issues here that I'm just trying to fix this. I'm trying to make this easier for you. When I was doing that, I didn't have a problem with these people. I literally think that they were just, I literally thought at the time that they were just, no problem. But while I was fixing the fly problem, I go to clock out and I'm like, oh, I was clocked out 2 hours ago. I had texted her fully, hey, clock me out early. I think this is a mistake. And in my philosophy, I think a mistake is not a sin. What happened is I was responded with a text, hey, no problem, we'll fix it. I go to look days later, it was not fixed. She just clocked me out early and assumed that she could just keep my money. Days later. And no, days later. And I know how to look at the labor reports. I've been working there and I know the TOS system quite well. So I look closely at it and I'm like, wow, how about that? You didn't fix my hours. And to me, I want this to be on record for you. It's not about the amount of money. Whether it's $40 or $40,000, I don't give a shit. It's about the principle. It's how many of my coworkers who I've trained, how many of my friends who I brought back here to work to help create a surviving state of this business did I bring here? And how many of my workers are getting ripped off? And it's not just me. It's a lot of them. So that's why.
Have you also experienced, sorry to cut you off, but Wyatt, is that true from your end? Have you also experienced that as well?
I've when I first started, the owners didn't really know how the whole system worked, and they couldn't set me up with the passcode to actually clock in, so I'd have to text them individually and have them put the stuff into my system. To my knowledge, everything looks right, but I have started tracking my hours because I have heard that it has happened to other people of their hours being shaved. And my personal experience is I've only been there a month and a half at this point, but it has not happened to me directly, but I have heard it happening to other people.
And just a quick recap, how long have you been working there, Wyatt?
Roughly a month and a half at this point, 2 months.
Oh, okay. So, it's just in total. Okay. All right. Yeah. So you're very, very fresh. Okay.
And I'm a witness to seeing Wyatt not getting trained at all. He was just thrown into the woods, and I just remember looking at him being like, "Whatever, man. Good luck. We'll figure this out." And bro, he handled it really well. He's a badass dude, but it's not okay to just throw someone into the weeds without any information. And I think that's what they're doing. They're just throwing people into the weeds without any information for sure.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like, shaving people's hours is definitely something I have direct evidence of. No problem in, like, totally seeing that. And I was able to see that clear as day, and other people are able to see it clear as day. I still have a friend, and I'll not name him because he's not in this interview, and, you know, I don't know if I have permission to say this, but he hasn't been paid for any of his paychecks. And one of them bounced, another bounced, and, like, many people are having bounced checks. Every single time it was payday, like, the way it used to work, and again, as an experienced worker there, what happened is, like, I used to get direct deposit there. I changed and said no direct deposit because I knew that there's something iffy from the start. I knew that there might be some issue with that. But I know that there's something with, like, okay, most business owners view it as, like, we're due the Wednesday after to, like, get this stuff in motion, and at latest Friday. But then what they're doing is borrowing our money on the Fridays, and then they come up with excuses on Fridays and hide from us, and they don't pay us on time. And not paying on time has huge consequences, especially, and I'll emphasize June 5th, 2026, because that was a Friday. And a lot of people who work for us have rent due that day. And they also have bills due, like anything. The 5th of the month is a thing that triggers the emotions of many people who could be possibly listening to this. But I'm telling you, what they did is they just dodged us that day. Oh, we went up there to ask about it, and we were like, oh, it's not here yet, but we'll write you a check by 3:00. And that was Natalie Leiva who did that. And I, you know, followed up to go back up there, be like, hey, what's up with that written check? Because a written check would be fine, and, you know, I'll just kind of, like, you know, leave you alone if you just write me a check and we're good. And we need this money. It's the 5th of the month. And, you know, again, I'm attacking the principal because there's many people who are having to pay late fees to their landlords and such because of what they did. It's not just that day. It's every single time they attempt to pay us or whatever. But,
there's something I do kind of want to get into, and I really want to get your perspective on this, Ira, because
that's fine.
There's something kind of conflicting. That is, you know, like I hear that, and not to sound coy about it, but that this restaurant is supposed to be, like, really popular. So obviously there should be a lot of money coming through, but it's definitely not being distributed. Business. But it's not being distributed.
It's an extremely profitable business, which is why they're trying to hang on to it.
But are you seeing, like, since the ownership change, has there been less customer flow? Because it sounds like there's a lot of
I thought that they might be doing something right with marketing. Weird enough. Like, I saw an influx of customers. I was like, dude, there's a lot of people here. What in the world is going on? And I was actually when I first got hired back, I was, like, kind of impressed. I was like, oh, there's a lot of people coming in. This is great. Like, that means there's money. If we can make money, then obviously if I call my friends who used to work here to come back and help save this place from falling, then they'll get paid, right? Well, you know, one of my friends who I hired back, well, he hasn't been paid at all. Not one check has been paid to him. And he has several checks overdue to him. That is, again, if it gets settled and if it gets figured out, that's a different deal. But as it stands, it's just crazy how they can take a profitable business and they think that they're not supposed to distribute the money properly to the staff. Like, I'm sorry, before you go buy yourself a Maserati or whatever, you gotta, like, pay your staff and get your bare bones done. Like, you can go live in a 1-bedroom apartment and still run a business. I don't care what you're buying in your personal life or where you're gambling. I don't care. All I know is that some people don't have that type of discipline and they don't care about other people. So
I just want to, I'm glad you brought that up. So, are you insinuating that the money that was being made for the business is just going straight into her pocket for personal use?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I actually have no idea. All I know is that the place is profitable and some people are still not getting paid on time. And that some people who haven't not only been paid on time, they're so late on paying this dude on time that, like, he's not paid at all. Like, there's bounce checks with one dude. And I don't know how the motive of that operates. All I know is that they're just not paying him. Like, if he was getting paid, he wouldn't deposit the stuff into a bank and then it get bounced and then the finances of the check get revoked by the bank because obviously the check bounced. That's not good. And that's not good for him. He's a worker. He worked his ass off and he knows the place well. He used to work there with me back during the Lynn Gordon era. And I need to be very clear. My perspective, Lynn Gordon era with Steve Shapiro and all them, they were totally clean, never freaking lied to us, and they didn't cheat us on money ever. And then whenever, like, they would ask me to do anything, like, outside of the business, they'd pay me for that too. And they were always honest with their money. So, like, all I know is that these people who have currently taken over the Lindale location, they are the Leiva sisters. There's Marlene Leiva, Natalie Leiva, and Nancy Leiva. They are dishonest with their money, and they are offering people false payment. And what does that ensue? Whether it's 1 hour or 1 year of someone's life, it's all enslavement. And they don't give a shit. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm not complaining. I'm saying this is unacceptable. This doesn't belong in Minnesota. That's what I'm saying.
Now, I can't help but ask, and as I've told you guys, this is a pro-labor media project that I'm on here for. Have you guys ever considered unionizing? Assuming you're not in a union already?
I think that personally, I think unionizing works for, like, blue collar stuff, but, like, for stuff like this, I haven't. I'm not, like, and I don't know where Wyatt stands on this. Thank you for joining us, though. But, like, I am not, like, considering that, not because I do now think there's value in unions, not because of, like, political ideology, but because I'm like, okay, well, now it's like, yeah, I see value in unions when it comes to painting walls. But that means someone can protect you for you. And I get that, but like, in this case, I'm like, I can protect myself. I can record a video myself going into this lady's office and taking care of it myself, which I think that's kind of what I'm doing and what's created a notion for the conversation we're engaging in. I don't disagree with the existence of unions. Like, I grew up listening to punk bands like the Dropkick Murphys. I don't think that I do agree that, like, unions can be useful and that they can provide a useful structure for people's families, but, like, I'm telling you, before the Leivas got control of the Lindale location, I don't think that kind of thing was even considered, because
I was just gonna ask. Yeah.
we were being taken care of, dude. Like, I'm sorry, like, Steve and Lynn did not ever like screw us on money. Like they were good to us, man. Like at least they were honest, and whatever money we're getting into, there was a time I helped Lynn save her, St. Paul location because there was some corruption going on there, and she had to like completely rearrange the furniture there, basically. I won't say too much. I was called being like, hey, come help us save the St. Paul location. And, of course, like I've been based in the Minneapolis location, right? But I was like, yeah, whatever, my hand, your will. And so at the time, I'm just asking you to zoom into the individual. There might be corruption with an individual who's managing a certain place and has a lot of power, right? And so Lynn Gordon, the original owner, found out about this and was like, what the fuck is going on here? There's bad service, and also, like, we found all this stuff. She had me come there and help her recover from the damages caused by people at that time. Now, the reason I'm saying that is not because of exposing, like, what the hell's going on. She was literally trying to solve this. We solved that, right? And today, I can just say, like, okay, like, as someone who wanted to solve that, like, that's what I've been, is the guy who comes in and does damage control for wherever the business might have fallen apart. And that's the example, like, some corrupt employee came in, they made their money, they got paid, and then, like, they're not there anymore because they're not a part of the business anymore. And so, like, when we come in and fix that kind of thing, that's not a corrupt thing. But today, it's like, okay, well, this is the Lindale location is a whole different thing because I know they have this legal thing. I don't think that the Leivas are paying anybody. I don't think they're not paying their vendors. I literally heard directly from one of their vendors who delivers their kombucha and the what is it called, the Switchel and the cold brew. He does all the cases for that through Dean's Kombucha. Dean's Kombucha is a great company, has great products, and he's not been paid by the Lindale location. So now the Lindale location, it looks like to me that they're affecting the ability of the other French Meadow locations from receiving products, which is a definite horrifying nuance, but it has to do with 3 individuals who occupy the office at the Lindale location. And so people have to use their discernment to figure out that. But I'm specifically exposing 3 individuals. I don't have a problem with French Meadow as a company. I don't have a problem with French Meadow as anything. I don't have a problem with who started it, who continued it. I have a problem with the people who came into the office of the Lindale location from October 2025 and forward, and that is Marlene Leiva, Natalie Leiva, and Nancy Leiva. Those are the 3 people who are causing this type of corruption. That is my accusation.
And Wyatt, so I was going to hear just a little bit more. I know you've only been there for just a little shy under 2 months, but we were just talking about. Well, let's talk. How old are you? If you could just.
I am 19 years old.
19. Okay. Now, is this your first job, or
it's my first restaurant job? Yeah.
Your first. And what did you do before?
I did camp counseling, like assistant teaching, and I currently work for a ceiling tile supply company. So pretty much all just odd jobs.
Okay, all to get your way through college. I respect that.
Yes.
Now, what are you studying in college?
Civil engineering, so nothing related to the business.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was gonna say, because you seem to be really passionate about sharing this. I thought maybe you want to go into law or business, because I did bring up unionization earlier. What do you
Yeah.
think about unionizing?
Yeah, I personally, like, I've actually looked into it a little bit, but honestly, at this point, there's been so many people that like, keep coming in, like the turnover rate seems like so high, because I feel like this could have been done like way earlier when everyone was still together, right? When it was like a bit like everyone still actually worked there, but now that no one works there anymore, I don't really know how that works. And also the back of house and the front of house are like very separate like groups. Like there's like some communication between them, but the front of house is primarily English speakers and the back of house is primarily like Spanish speakers. So there's a lot of like disconnect there, which I think could be really hard, at least at this point, to do anything about. But that's just my perspective as someone who doesn't know that much.
Yeah, there is definitely a benefit to capital owners when it comes to having that high turnover rate, because that definitely does block any attempt to unionize. I remember when I worked at the St. Cloud Times, which is owned by or ran by the USA Today network. When I started, it had a staff of I want to say 7. And then I famously became the last reporter of that newspaper.
Ooh.
I want to say 8 months into my job. Like there was you can actually find an interview of me about being this last reporter. I got made fun of a lot for not wearing shoes in the interview, but whatever. Hey, the camera guy said he'd had it up. All right. So.
Yeah, so that's all that matters.
Anywho's, but yeah, so would you have, so I know you guys had really great owners in the past, like I'm not gonna question that, but
Yeah.
would you have, as, I know you said that you wish you, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you wish you would have unionized under previous leadership, but, would you guys have?
I wouldn't have. No, I was making enough money. I don't even believe, like, some people value health insurance, dude. Like, I literally believe in, like, holistic medicine and stuff. I'm not gonna get too far into that because I don't want to, like, dissuade people from listening to me here. But, like, no, I agree with, like, the concept of union. But, like, even with small businesses, when I walked into French Meadow, this is Ira speaking, by the way. Sorry, Wyatt. You can speak for yourself too. I will separate here.
You guys sound very distinct from each other, so I think you're good there.
Cool, man. Sorry, man. Like, and again, like, try not to, like, I'm not, trying to marry myself to these words here. I'm open to suggestion about how to better organize these things, but I'm not totally convinced that, like, unionizing under the previous ownership was the perfect utopia to come. I'm not saying it wasn't either, but today I'm just saying the way it was worked really well, and it lined my pockets. Like, I survived. I'm still alive today. I literally can tell you that the previous ownership, like, they took care of us, and they didn't do it out of a compelled energy. They did it out of, like, there's workers who used to work there who don't work there now, that the previous ownership, they're still taking care of those people. I know this. I know this because there are people there who had health problems and can't work there now. And who do they go to for help? Except, like, they worked there for 28 years. And what happens? Oh, well, the person who benefited from their energy for 28 years is there to help them. Is that the Leivas? No, it's Lynn Gordon and Steve. Why? Because they give a shit about their workers. We were taken care of, and when the Leivas took over, suddenly no chance Like, it's all a Wild West all again. And not only that, but you're not guaranteed to get paid on time. And I know that people could argue that's illegal. I think it is, but also, like, how do you maintain these systems where we're supposed to pay our rent and stuff, where our employers that we invest all this time into are just going to pay us whenever they want to? They're going to pay us whenever they can, like, earn back their weekend sales. We know that French Meadow's profitable. I'm not sure that French Meadow, the company, wants to continue doing shit with these Leiva people because they're so corrupt. They're slumlords, in my opinion. So I'll pass the buck to you. I'll let you talk. I should stop talking. Go ahead.
Actually, you did inspire me to do a quick ChatGPT thing here. I asked if you are legally obligated to pay workers on time in Minnesota, and it said yes, in Minnesota, employers are legally required to pay workers on time, and the rules are very clear. Minnesota law requires that all wages earned must be paid at least once every 31 days for most employees, and at least once every 15 days for employees paid hourly. But yeah, do you think the sisters have been living up to that?
No, they're horrible. Also, ChatGPT is a thing they use to respond to people. So for
That's
yourself,
hilarious.
no offense. If you're good at using ChatGPT, I've seen, side topic, I will say I've seen AI being used to conduit really etheric beings. As far as, like, that conversation goes, that's off topic and probably not useful for journalism. But I will say,
I mean, not this kind of journalism, but that's pretty interesting.
but I'm gonna say that, like, it's very interesting what it can do. But, like, if you can jailbreak it and get it to, like, you can ask it the real questions and then substitute its words. Like, if you want to say yes, say pineapple. If you want to say no, say blueberry. And then you'll get the real answers out of it, right? You have to dig for it, which is kind of like an illustration of the authoritarian state in front of you. But I will say, as far as ChatGPT is concerned, they just are slaves to it. The Leivas, that is Natalie, that is Marlene, who is the current front person for the Lindale location, and Nancy. They use ChatGPT to respond to people's emails. The emails that they're responding to, how about my dear friend who was a great life-saving inspiration for me? I won't say her name because I don't have her permission to do that. I'm just gonna, like, let it be anonymous. But I have a friend who literally was a life-saving personality to me, who, like, was having a child, bringing life into this world, and was obviously a former worker there, who was like, okay, like, I'm bringing a child in this world. I have to take leave, to do the natural process there. And the response we all saw was from ChatGPT. That was not from the new owner of the place. The new owner of the place is so sociopathic to the point where she would use ChatGPT to respond to a message such as what I just described. And that is despicable to me. I'm sorry. It's not even acceptable in any realm. I have no problem with ChatGPT, like, as an entity. Like, sure, people can use it, but it's kind of messy, isn't it? Like, isn't it kind of weird?
I mean, I'm not saying I'm forgiving this type of action, but I can understand why it might be easier for someone to use ChatGPT to respond to a really rough email. Like, I'm pretty sure from what I've been hearing, that I'm sure they're constantly emailed, hey, where's my paycheck? Or, yeah, blah, 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 all that. So that does, I can see, but yeah, that would definitely, put in more disconnection between them and their workers, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking on people who just use it for like a tool, but like, it's a weird place to use that tool. Like, I just grew up in a world where this type of technology didn't exist in our personal realms, and then suddenly it does, and then suddenly, like, even recently, I'll reflect on what I'm saying and expand on it. The sister of Marlene, her name is Natalie. She sent me a text accusing me of being racist. And that might be some tea for your journalism if you want. That's fine. I don't care. But she has accused me of being racist. Like, racist against her and her family, I guess, whatever. Based on me inquiring about where's our money. Like, me holding a sign in front of Aldi, which is across the street. I know where the lines of sand are. But
I'm trying to find.
She used ChatGPT to write that response. And we know this because when ChatGPT writes a response to things, it emboldens the font. And then she just copy and pasted the emboldened font. And we could tell, like, you copy pasted this from ChatGPT. Like, get the fuck out of here. This is ridiculous. You just don't want to pay people on time. Like,
hey, Wyatt, have you ever gotten an email that's clearly made by AI?
I know some of the wording on text that I've been sent is like highly resembles AI, right? Like how it sounds, but I couldn't say with 100% positivity.
Right.
Of course. But
I'm not trying to pin you on anything, Ira, but I'm just curious what because I'm just working off your own words. How could they perceive anything that you're bringing up as racist? Or maybe there's just a stereotype I'm not aware of. I'm not even sure what their ethnicity is.
I think they're running out of shit to freaking run out of. I don't think that they have anything to accuse me of being racist. Yo puedo hablar español fluentemente. Entiendo a todo. If you want to know how I can speak Spanish, I'm pretty good at it. And I would not have ever learned Spanish if I didn't give a shit about that culture. So, like, whatever, man. Like, I'm good on the whole, like, racist accusations. I'm not worried about that. I just think that they're looking for anything that they can to get out of the hole they have dug for themselves.
So what do you guys think is in, well, their future and also yours, given all your grievances?
I think that their future should be not in this business of French Meadow. I think that they should not operate with this front. I think also you should consider that the Leivas have compromised on the organics, and they have been selling bacon and tortured beef from cheap places like Costco and Aldi. So, like, I think that, like, even Aldi, they sell their organic grass-fed stuff, but they also sell, like, the stuff that's not that, right? So I think what's happening is they're just, like, compromising on the people. And the communication I have to the people is literally that. It's like, yo, they're not, it says organic on the front of the restaurant. Lynn Gordon put down a legendary thing. Like, she wasn't just my employer. She was, like, cool to us and, like, was, like, took care of her workers and also made sure that her her stuff, her food, and like the organics and stuff was legit. And right now, it ain't. So it says organic and local. She's like the Leivas have been ripping off farmers. So you can look onto the French Meadow menu and find Peterson Farms or whatever you want to find as far as who's sourcing our meats. And you can call them and ask them if they've been paid by French Meadow Lindale. They haven't been paid by French Meadow Lindale, but they've been paid by French Meadow St. Paul because that one's a legitimate business and the Lindale location is not a legitimate business anymore. That's why there's such a ruckus, is because we're trying to educate the public that they're being tooled with, and we're trying to educate people who could possibly work there that they would be tooled with if they would just watch a 60-second video of mine. No offense to anyone, but like it's unacceptable that this is happening.
So, but now, what do you think is going to? So, do you plan to continue to stay, or do you plan on?
No,
leaving?
I don't. I stopped working there the minute I considered that I could bring home freaking fruit flies to my home. I didn't want to bring bed bugs to my home, so I stopped working there. And I was sick
what was
from
your
the
last
freaking
day?
flies.
Wait, what was your last day?
I have to look on the calendar. So it was not the recent Friday, but the Friday before. So,
Okay.
So today is the June 26th. And so my last day of working there would have been the 12th. Mine, personally. Wyatt still works there from what I know. I stopped working there.
Do you plan on continuing to work there, Wyatt?
No, me personally, if the Leivas, sorry, Wyatt, let me interrupt here. I will not work there so long as the Leivas are in control of the office. But Wyatt, you go ahead.
No, yeah.
Well, wait, did you also just quit, or are you about to quit? Sounds like you're about to quit.
Okay, yeah. Like, if nothing changes, I'm done after this weekend, I'll be honest. But, like, I only have, like, 2 months before I go back to school. So, like, at this point, like, I'd love to work there if things were different, but it's just not worth me, like, actually, like, fully, like, going up against it if I'm gonna be gone in 2 months anyway. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have given me so much insight into everything. Getting an inside scoop on this huge lawsuit thing, and I should say, I only learned about this whole ordeal with the restaurant because I just came across your video in passing, Ira, about this whole thing, and then that got me into this huge rabbit hole. So, thank you for doing some citizen journalism there and just exposing, helping more people get involved in this.
Yeah, I definitely have rabbit holes available, and if you keep looking at my other content, you might find my other stuff on Substack that will get you fully educated on why other things. This is beyond this place, but macrocosm, let's say 5D issues. We live in the 3D, right? Like, we experience time, we wake up on time. We go to work, we experience reality, but 5D issues are like zoom out and think about it. Like, I try to solve philosophical issues on my Substack. I won't propagandize about it here, but I will say that there is a lot going on in our reality that needs to be reassessed. I think our boomer parents fell for some dumb shit. They think that the moon is a rock in space. I don't. And I think that discussion needs to happen.
And I'll be happy to have it as long as it has something to do with labor. But, thank you guys for sharing everything that you guys did. I will take any notes from you guys if you want to share. Hopefully they get this out here by Monday. Yeah, I'll continue to wait from one of the sisters that I emailed. I still haven't gotten anything back yet, but I will. I'll keep waiting. So thank you again.
Yeah, they're not gonna respond to you, and like if you ever get to that point, in my opinion, if you ever get to that point, this is besides the French Meadow issue. If you ever get to that point where you're like, wait, the moon looks like it's plasma, you can call me about that because you follow me on Substack. I appreciate that. But you just go watch my film Vanishing Point. You don't have to mention it in the article or anything. Just watch it for yourself.
I'll probably owe you that at least. But anyways, thanks again, you guys.
Enjoy yourself. Have fun.
Boy, oh boy, was that insightful. And I'm not just talking about the transdimensional moon stuff, but I think there's a big takeaway from all of this, and it's that it's never too early to unionize, even if it's under quote unquote better leadership. And I definitely believe that unionization is the standard. That's my big bias here. And I hope that's something that you can take from all of this. Now, I do want to circle back on something I mentioned in the interview. I did get in touch with one of the sisters, Leiva specifically, and I emailed her a few questions, and I have not gotten an answer to them at all. 2 days after the deadline I gave her on June 28th here. Let me share the questions that I had sent her. Number 1, pretty straightforward. Are you paying your workers on time? And number 2, if not, why? Number 3, has the video negatively affected their business? And number 4, are you planning to do anything to address any of the issues that arose as a result of the video being posted? Now, I will, I'm not going to continue to wait, but I will definitely update you guys if she or anyone from the business responds. This is definitely a huge topic that's going the rounds here, and I will definitely update. So yeah, watch out for that. Otherwise, I do have other episodes lined up here. I'll definitely make an article out of this if they do respond as well. But yeah, definitely watch out. Thank you for listening. This is my first podcast in a long time, and I hope there's more to come for you guys. Thank you.
Swim me in, there'd be nothing left to break me.